Hello everyone, welcome. I have a new stencil and die set to show you in today's video. I love stencils lately, they are so fun to play with. There are 3 in this release. It's called the Layered Christmas Stencils collection. There's a Merry Christmas, a Noel, and a Joy. And I'm going to be playing with the Layered Joy Tree stencil. There are several stencils to this set, as you see. 6 in all. You can buy this with or without the coordinating die. This will cut out the joy sentiment in the center of the tree. Like so. So I'm going to go for a very dramatic effect on today's card. I'm using a piece of black cardstock, and I'll pull out a bunch of Distress Oxide inks. These inks are great because they will sit on top of the paper. They won't soak in like your dye inks, and you'll be able to see them really well on this black cardstock. I'm using a stamp and stencil mat from Simon Says Stamp and Brutus Monroe. This will hold my cardstock and my stencils in place very nicely, and it's small enough that I can twist it and move it around if I need to. So I'm starting off with some green ink. This one is called Lucky Clover. And then when I'm done with my blending, I can just peel off the stencil, and it looks so pretty on that black cardstock. And I'll continue with Festive Berries ink. It's kind of a blend between a pink and a red. All right, coming along very nicely. I'm loving how this is looking. I'll come in with some Vintage Photo next for the stump of the tree and a few of the branches. I'm using really small blending brushes so I can get into these small spaces. Then I'm going to bring in another green ink. This one is Peeled Paint. This will color in some of the holly leaves. It'll add a little dimension to them. Wanted to go over the trunk just a little bit more, make it nice and dark. And you can see those two-toned holly leaves, they look so pretty. I'm using squeezed lemonade for the star at the top of the tree and some of the lights. This looks nice and bright. It does fade back just a little bit, however, and I wanted to use a smaller stencil brush for this because these are really teeny tiny dots, so that's why I switched it out. And now for the sentiment. So I'll use a pink for some of the sparkles around the tree, as well as the shadow or the drop shadow for the joy sentiment. For my very last stencil, I'm going to pull out a solar paste. So I recently purchased the new solar pastes from Simon Hurley, and I'm so excited to play with these. I couldn't decide which color I wanted to use. I decided on a pink, and these solar pastes look really pretty on dark cardstocks. I'll take off the wrapper and find my little palette knife, and then I can just scrape a little bit onto the side of the stencil and carefully go over the joy. I'm always afraid of getting the paste underneath the stencil, but it turned out beautifully. Then I can just scrape off the excess and put it back in the little tub of paste. Okay, so let's see how this turned out. Oh, it's so pretty. This one is actually the drop shadow to our joy sentiment. I thought the first stencil was. I let that dry for a good hour, and now I'm going to attach this to a piece of teal cardstock. This will bring out the teal branches of the tree. I want to add a little more brightness to this card, so I brought out a white gel pen. I'm just adding little details to some of the leaves and flowers. And then the squeezed lemonade yellow dried back kind of pale. So I'm going to bring out a yellow gel pen and go over the star and some of the twinkle lights on the tree. I allowed that to dry for a few minutes, and now I can attach this to my card base. And this card is done. I didn't even add any embellishments this time. I liked those little twinkle lights. They looked like embellishments to me. I'm going to have to use the stencil again with its coordinating die. This was really fast and fun to put together. With this stencil, you could make up a lot of cards for Christmas. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a wonderful crafty day. Bye.